as an aesthetical choice that also has further significances. The director started to choose and to decide for the viewer what was important. One has to be paid attention to. The spectator didn't have to think any longer because what was relevant and what deserved attention in a certain story was being chosen for him. Through the contents of the image and the resources of montage, the cinema has at its disposal a whole arsenal of means whereby to impose its interpretation of an event on the spectator. Regarding depth of field, Bazin says, "This is why depth of field is not just a stock in trade of the cameraman, like the use of a series of filters or of such and such style of lighting. It is a capital gain in the field of direction, a dialectical step forward in the history of film language. Nor is it just a formal step forward. Well-used shooting in depth is not just a more economical, a simpler, and at the same time a more subtle way of getting the most out of a scene. In addition to affecting the structure of film language, it also affects the relationship of the minds of the spectators to the image, and in consequence, it influences the interpretation of the spectacle." In short, montage, by its very nature, rules out ambiguity of expression, and on the other hand, depth of focus reintroduces ambiguity into the structure of the image, if not of necessity. Taking the logic of ambiguity a little further, we will consider two projects, even if very distant in time, that share stunning and predictive similarities regarding the logic of the actual World Wide Web. The Theatre of Memory by Giulio Camillo and Abby Warburg's Mnemocine Atlas project. Giulio Camillo was an Italian philosopher, and according to Francis Yates, he was one of the most famous men of the 16th century. Yates quotes Vilius Suicemus, who in 1532 wrote in a certain letter to Erasmus that everyone was talking about a certain Giulio Camillo. They say that this man has constructed a certain amphitheater, a work of wonderful skill into which whoever is admitted as a spectator will be able to discourse on any subject no less fluently than Cicero. It is said that this architect has drawn up in certain places whatever about anything is found in Cicero. Certain orders or grades of figures are disposed with stupendous labor and divine skill. Camillo thought of the theatre as organized in 7 sections that map the creation of the world. 7 pillars that are those of Solomon's House of Wisdom symbolize eternity. In Camillo's system, scholars, the users of the theatre, become spectators. The theatre rises in 7 grades or steps, which are divided by 7 gangways, representing the 7 planets. The student of it is to be, as it were, a spectator before whom are placed the 7 measures of the world in spettaculo, or in a theatre. And since in ancient theatres the most distinguished persons sat in the lowest seats, so in this theatre the greatest and most important things will be in the lowest place. This is an image of the theatre. So the use of loci, of the classical mnemonic techniques, was replaced in Camillo's theatre by eternal places, which are the figures located in each level of the theatre. This theatre was based in the principles of the classical art of memory, but in this building, Camillo wanted to reproduce the order of eternal truth.